Alright, let's go ahead and get started with 514. 514, I'm just looking at this. I'm going to start with the front view, looking in at the basic overall geometry. I'm going to create several sketches for that. We can go ahead and locate the hole and the cutout in the first sketch, and then follow it by the holes for the other locations. So, on to our inventor. Creating a new drawing with our standard IPP file. I'm going to start the sketch on the XY plane, and I'm going to start with the 0, 0 being in the lower left hand corner. I'm going to type in the dimensions as I go along, so it's 0.5 by 25. Oops. Up 2. Over 2. You can either project it or type in the dimension. I'm going to use projection there. This would be 0.5. Line it up with projection. And so you can see as I'm going along there, everything has been constrained either with dimensions or keeping everything perpendicular parallel to an existing line. I'm going to go ahead and locate the circle. So I'm going to put the circle on here. As you see when I'm projecting there, it's locating this part 1.5 inches. So if you can find that point, you might as well go ahead and put that in with the 0.5. I'm just going to sketch here and then apply the dimension. This is a 0.88 diameter. Alright, so I'm already located from the center to this corner right here has already been specified as 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to locate the dimension from the bottom. So from the bottom edge, it's up 1.5 inches. And that's going to specify that. And now I'm going to go ahead and draw. I'm going to just sketch these in here just to, oops, I want at least to be straight. At least draw a couple lines in here and then we'll place the dimensions. I'm doing this just to kind of show you that you can sketch and then locate the dimensions. So with the drawing that we were given that the 0.6 is going to be from the center line up to that edge, and then it would be 0.12 as the overall. So we're at 0.6 from that center line. So it's important to pay attention to the dimensions that are specified. So back to my inventor drawing, I am going to go ahead and apply those same dimensions from the line to the center of this circle is 0.6. Oh, let's make sure we put 0.06. 0.06. And then same dimension from the bottom. So I'm just pointing to the center of the circle and the line, 0.06. And that gets us, those two lines are located there. So using the trim command, go through and trim out whatever we don't need. Okay, so that would finish off everything we need in our front view. We can see one line right there is not fully constrained. So if we try to, oops, let's not do that. Let's do a dimension, it must be from here to here. There we go. Now that is fully constrained. We can finish this sketch and now extrude a depth of 0.62. So I'm using distance here. Remember, these buttons here can toggle the direction in which your extrusion is facing. So I only had one profile, so it automatically selected that. So I'm going to just extrude that in that format there. Alright, so now we're going to go back to our top view. Create a sketch right here. I'm going to work on the hole that is shown right here, the 0.25 diameter through with a 0.38 counterbore with a depth of 0.31. Now this one, and I'm going to run it only through this distance of the top piece right here. I'm not running that all the way through the entire part. So we're just going to go to that surface where the break is. So creating a new sketch. This time I'm going to use a point. So I'm just going to locate a point somewhere out here. And we might as well just use the project geometry so we can see that top plane. sometimes if you kind of like lose track of where you are, you are free to rotate your part so you can kind of make sure that you are in the right area and you're working with the lines that you think you're working with. So I'm just going to rotate that around and make sure that we know that we are in the correct area. So that dimension is 0.31. Let's locate it off the edge, which is 0.25. Remember, every time you put a hole, you have 3 pieces of information. You need to give the X and the Y location, and then the next thing is the actual size. So I'm going to finish the sketch because I'm now going to use my hole command, and I'm going to actually pick the counterbore option. And this makes it, a little bit easier. You don't have to go through 2 steps with the hole. You wouldn't have to, drill one diameter through and then come back and get the second one. So the through diameter is 0.25, so that's correct there. The counterbore dimension, it just happens to be set correct, which is 0.38, and it goes a depth of 0.31. And if I did through all, you can see that it's going through that one piece there, so I'm just going to click distance. And I'm going to specify the distance. Let's see, I'm going to also take away the drill point. The distance is going to be 1.5 inches. So that dimension right here, 1.5, we'll get through. Let's go ahead and look at that from the front. Oh no, not 1.5 inches. Oh wait, make it 1 inch. 1. There we go. So 1 minus, we could actually do 1 minus the 0.06. That would actually be the full size. And I hit enter really quick, so sorry about that. But there's the hole. Let's go ahead and look at this at the front view, rotate it around. And while we're here, let's go over to view and then look at this with shaded with the hidden edges. So there is our counterbore with the 0.38 diameter. It goes down a depth of 0.31. And then we have a 0.25 all the way through. The next 2 holes that we need to do is on this surface right here. So we're going to create a 2D sketch and switch back up to that 2D. So remember, this one I'm just going to go ahead and use like a circle command. Locate the circle, give the 3 pieces of information, which is going to be the diameter of the hole, and then we're going to locate them X and Y. Oops. .31. I'm going to just line this up, projecting it over. I should have just typed that in, but oh well. 0.25. And locate this. 0.25, and I've already projected it off of the front one, so I don't need to specify the 0.31 again. Let's go to extrusion, and let's go ahead and switch to cut. Okay, we do want to cut that profile and that one. Okay, so we've got the cut, and here I'm just going to, instead of specifying distance, I'm just going to say to next, and that means it's going to cut a hole out from the top surface to the bottom. If I specify a distance, and let's just say I use a 1/2 inch, if I went back and never changed the dimension of this bottom piece to, let's just say, 0.75, then the hole would only be specified as 0.5. So if I know that I'm going to always need a through hole on that, I'm going to use to next, because then that way I don't have to go back and update the holes if I were to change the overall profile of this part. Hit OK. There we go. And that is the problem 514 and the solution.